This time we are going to remove a background from a photograph, and we're going to use Photopea again. Searching for it, go into the first one on there. We're going to open from computer, go through and find my image that I've saved to my desktop, and double click to open it up. In my layers over here, I am going to add a mask to that layer. So down here at the bottom it says add raster mask, and I'm going to click that button. It adds another section to my layer here, and from here I want to get my brush tool, and I'll click on that. There is some other tools, but just get the brush tool. And I want to change my color picker to be black to remove the image. So that's right here. It might be at the bottom of your toolbar. So the color picker, I'll select black out of this selection here, say OK. Now my brush is really small right now, and I can change the size of it by going right up here and adjusting the size of my brush. So I can make it bigger, as big as I need. And I'll usually adjust the size of my brush throughout working on this. Also, another thing we looked at was that hardness level, and that's how much transition is going to happen between the edge of your brush. So is it going to feather it, a smooth feathering, or is it going to be a really harsh edge? We could start with a harsh edge, and I'll make my brush a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. So anywhere I click now, it's going to remove the background, and it's going to show through. It's going to be a checkered background, and that's what you want. You want it to be checkered. It shouldn't show up as white or black or any other color. It should be a checkered background. To get details, I would use my zoom tool. Here it is, the little magnifying glass. I would zoom really far in if there was a part I wanted to get in close, and I would go back to my brush tool, and I would make my brush a whole lot smaller. I'm using the keyboard shortcut of using the two brackets to make this bigger and smaller. And you can see the edge on there is a little bit harsh and not real smooth transition. So I could go back and lower that hardness level and find a good area that's going to make it kind of blend together a little bit better. And again, it's going to be different on every image, and you might have to just kind of go back and forth and find the one that's going to work for yours. So I would take a good amount of time, and I would get really close into my image, and at least when I'm doing the detailed work, I would use a really small brush. And then when I started to zoom out, I would get kind of a bigger brush when I'm doing the next level. And when I get even farther out, it would be okay to get a much larger brush because you're not going to have to worry about those details. And you could keep going around your whole image until you remove all the parts that you want to get rid of. And I'm not really taking my time with it, but you would take your time and remove the background from an image. After you got it perfectly how you wanted it, spent time on it, you would go up to File and go to Export As. PNG or JPEGs are a good one. Click on JPEG. Don't be alarmed by the zoomed in picture that shows up on there. And you could adjust your quality if you wanted to, and you could hit Save. Goes to my downloads over here, and that's where you could open it up or click and drag it and move it to where you needed it. All right, that is removing the background from an image.